You know, I think Proton has finally found their niche. They've realized Prodoa has the budget end of the market all sewn up. So they've moved on to better and bigger things. This is Proton X90. My name is Jim, and this is Carlist. So this is the X90 Flagship, the top-end model for the money. Okay, 153,000 ringgit. You can't really compete with any other three-row SUV out there. They're way more expensive, except for maybe the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro. But remember, this car starts at 124,000 ringgit, and that is just a bargain. So yeah, we know that this is not a new car. A new car was launched back in May 2023. But yeah, we're coming around to giving it the full review treatment. So if you could leave us a like and subscribe, really appreciate that. So we're seeing right now is the front three-quarter angle. Probably the best angle to look at the X90. It's got some real shoulders, some bulk, but it's well managed. And here I am wondering why Honda doesn't give us bigger wheels on the CR-V. Even on the biggest EHEV RS, they give us 18-inch wheels. These are 19s, nice and restrained, classy looking. And hey, look at this. You get Continental Eco Contact 6 tires. This is the biggest Proton ever, and it shows, okay? Even the third row seats over here, I'm sat down. I wouldn't really mind being here for a long-ish road trip. Yeah, my thighs are a bit raised up, but I have decent amount of leg room. I can slot my feet under. I have, let's just measure this, about 12 cm of headroom. I am a modest 165 cm, so you can't fit an adult back here. It's just not a very big one, okay? And if the person in this VIP captain's chair doesn't insist on having more legroom and push the chair back, it's pretty fine over here. And all the seats get Napa leather, okay? And it feels expensive, and dare I say, premium. That is not a word I use lightly, because I don't think I've sat in a more luxurious feeling Proton, because I'm sat here surrounded by Napa leather. Okay, I have air conditioning controls down here for fan speed and ventilated seats. That's wow. I got air conditioning vents, second row and third row as well. And I got a huge panoramic sunroof, okay? And that sunroof, it's a habit with Proton these days. You can't have a Proton without a sunroof, at least a new Proton, because the Iris and the Persona and the Saga don't get it. All the new ones have to have it. The lowest barrier to entry for a sunroof is Proton. So we can establish, right, it's pretty much a fact that for the money, for the volume of car, there's no really beating the X90. We haven't even got to the goodies yet because there's so much tech in this car as well. Let's start with the good. So a 10-inch screen for the driver, and for the center infotainment display, you get a 12-inch screen running Atlas OS, which is basically Android if you can't tell. Get a slick interface and some customizability. You can switch dark mode and a little bit here, but not. It's fine. It's good. All right, the speakers, you get 6 of them. They could use some EQ tweaking here and there, but they sound decent out of the box, okay? Not like the Kenwood sound system speaker thing that you used to get, or you still get with the X70. Those are disappointing. These sound decent. And of course, I have to address the fact that you don't get Apple CarPlay in this car either, which is classic Proton. You have Spotify, you have Jukes Music, you have Bluetooth, which is all that I really need. And in fact, the navigation over here is pretty decent. It's not Google Maps, it's not Waze, but I was surprised by how kind of usable it is. It's good, it's fine. Wireless charger down here for your smartphone. You get 6 USB ports, 2 up front, 2 for the back seats and 2 for the third row seats, right? And finally, Proton, I think they've even exceeded some Toyotas and some Hondas for their multi-function steering wheel buttons, because these buttons feel really good. They're tactile, but they're also soft touch, and they feel just nice and nicely laid out. They figured this stuff out. Very good. I've got no big complaints here, guys. Look, it is actually quite well executed. The mix of materials, the build quality is actually quite high. You get a lot of practicality too. You get a big storage area down here. You get a big glove compartment. You get 2 cup holders over here. A really, really deep storage compartment in the center cubby over here. You even have a huge area below the gear lever to store your other stuff, like a handbag or whatever. Speaking of the gear lever, all right, I like the way this works, okay? Because everything is a single step. I can trust it that way. I want to go to drive. I'm in park right now. I go 2 down. Reverse, 2 up. It is a Tiptronic system, okay? But if I want to go into a manual override mode, I have to go Swipe-tronic, okay? Because I have to like If on an upshift, it's this way. On a downshift, it's this way. It's just not sporty and it feels a little bit out of place. Okay, and same thing for this drive mode rotary dial. It's so big and so chunky, it feels like it's supposed to be really important, but really, you're not going to mess with it driving this car after the first week, because you're going to be on the school run, you're going to be buying groceries. It's not going to be, oh, eco mode, oh, comfort, oh, sport. No, it's going to just be in whatever you left it in. And this is overly complicated and overly emphasized. Okay, one more thing, the seats. In the X50, you get the kind of burgundy color on the seats. Really kind of gives that more of a premium feel. Same thing with the Persona, you get that kind of like, it's leatherette, but it's brown, settle brown kind of thing. It makes it look more expensive. In this, you get some white stitching on a black interior, on a black dashboard, on black trim. What I really like is this auto boot, okay? Dulu, you have to like kick it over here or whatever, but this one, just leave the key on you and just stand at the back of the car, and eventually the boot will auto open for you like this, all right? Just let it open by itself. And you get a decent 257 liters of space, good for a couple of suitcases, carry-ons, all right? You fold the second row seats down, all right, you get up to 2,050 liters of space. So, practicality, again, this is the best Proton to get. But yeah, we're not done yet, okay? Because at the back here is what makes this Proton X90 so special, because underneath this false floor is gonna take out this little tray here, take out this little plastic cover, and then you'll find a 48-volt lithium-ion battery at the back here. Why? This is Proton's first hybrid, technically a mild hybrid, okay? It is the lowest form of the hybrid in the food chain. Basically, it's a smaller everything, a smaller battery, a smaller motor, and smaller electric boosts, all right? Basically, bottom line is that you get 190 PS and 300 Newton meters of torque, which isn't that much, but it isn't that bad for this kind of car of this size. And also you get the 7-speed DCT transmission. Of course, you get that in the X50, X70, S70 as well. You get the same one over here. So, smooth shifts, more efficient engine, I guess, but we'll find out. This X90, apart from the Geely Haoyue or the Geely Okavango, the X90 gets a multi-link rear suspension. So more sophisticated suspension at the back, and it handles pretty decently. Maybe it's the tires. You know, it's a soft, wallowy-ish SUV, which is what you want. But it exits corners pretty good. Direction changes feel direct. Okay, it is the most soy, the lowest rung of all the hybrid systems. You have PHEVs, you have series parallel. You know, this MHEV system isn't going to be eye-opening. This 1.5 3-cylinder turbo TGDI engine, I noticed, isn't the greatest on fuel. Like my time with the X50, with the X70, with this engine as well, it doesn't really like to be pushed. You have to drive it really lightly and kind of baby the throttle pedal to get, you know, decent fuel economy. Maybe it was just the way I was driving, it just didn't like the way I was driving, I don't know. With that said, do I feel this is underpowered? No, I don't. I think it's good. In fact, you get pretty good acceleration and response, like throttle response. In-gear acceleration is pretty good as well. Like even if I kind of like just feather the gas a little bit, it does give me a lot of acceleration, you know, enough to overtake in a mild way. Okay, down to the Swipe-tronic transmission. I'm gonna call it Swipe-tronic, okay? So you have this over here, you swipe right to go to upshift and you swipe left to downshift. It'll only accept your manual override if it wants to. I have no problems with visibility. This car has a lot of glass. Getting a sense of what's around the car is really easy. Visibility is great. A-pillar, nice and thin. I can see what's ahead of me right there and there. Ahead of me as well over here. It's great. NVH is something I want to talk about though. Below 90 kilometers per hour, it's very quiet and very refined. In terms of the ride quality, it's really good. The ambient noise isn't really creeping in as well, but you do get wind noise. Something about Proton's design, and something about the way the A-pillars interact with the wing mirrors. I'm guessing all the air is kind of like being kind of like funneled in between this, and I get like this buffeting sound. But when it comes to slower speed driving in the city, this is actually a really good city car, a city big family SUV, because it's really quiet, really refined. For a Proton, it's probably the most grown-up feeling Proton that I've experienced. And another sign of that is how they've integrated all the controls and functions. Example, okay, this car is packed to the gills with all that active safety stuff, as it should be. It's a family car. Importantly, you get AEB, all right, autonomous emergency braking. And Proton is one of the few companies, at least or the ones sold here in Malaysia, that actually call AEB AEB. You know, they don't call it their own little, like, I don't know. They have like all these other brands, Mazda, Toyota, Honda, all call AEB or the function a different name, but not Proton. Great, call it AEB. That's really, really important. It'll save your life. It'll save other people's lives. And of course, you get that 360 camera in this car. Really, really essential to go to the mall and park in all these really, really tight spaces. You don't have to crane your neck like that to, to park. That's great, even though visibility is pretty good. So far, I guess I've come away from this X90 feeling more impressed than I did on first impressions with the X70, with the X50. There's a clear progression here. Either Geely or Proton or both of them are getting better at SUVs. This so far is the best one. Actually, this is the only Proton that I didn't immediately not like. I actually want to like it because I like the design language of this. Is more understated, is more grown up, and I feel the execution is really good as well. Even the hybrid system works really well. It is not intrusive and actually saves you some fuel and gives you that bit more boost when you need the performance. And execution-wise, the build quality is great, the interior, some reservations, but on the whole, it's a really good car to live with. Plenty practical, in fact. The only real competition against this car is the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro. In my experience with Proton SUVs, okay, it is a yes. Usually the yes is a value add, okay? This car is a great value proposition, yes. Small butt. Unlike this car's real butt, just very, very thick.